Today, Christine and I are going to make beaver sausage with beaver intestines. This fall, we got a few beavers, and so we've got 3 of them thawed out now, and these are the intestines from a couple beavers that I cleaned them out really well, and then I preserved them in just straight salt. Like I put some salt in this jar, and then I put the intestines in, and I like coated them with salt, and then they've been sitting in the root cellar for like 6 months, or maybe less than that, but a long time.
A few months, yeah.
A few months, and yeah. So I'm bringing them back to life. So it's kind of cool that you can just like stick something in salt. And
so what are you doing to them now?
So now I'm rinsing all the salt off, and I have to. They're kind of like slightly dehydrated, right? Because the salt has pulled the
moisture out.
So I have to like rehydrate them, and then I'm gonna do a few rinses and clean them out again. They're pretty clean already, but then I'm gonna soak them in a little bit of vinegar water with onions. Our friend told us to do that to get any weird flavor out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And we're gonna make beaver sausage today. And it's another lovely day in the bush with Christine.
Hello everyone. We're cutting up beavers today.
Oh boy. Look at that fat. No, not on Christine. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that fat. Christine is skinny. Look at that. Look at this.
Did you zoom in on it?
Look at that fat. It's so good. Okay, well, if you want to watch us butcher a beaver, now's your chance.
Is this still recording?
Yes, it's still recording. Just cutting off little strips like that while it's kind of all on the body. And then we're putting it in that bucket, and then that's going to go through the grinder. So I'm just cutting strips so that it's easier for the grinder to handle it. And if there's any weird things going on, we'll cut it off. This discoloring is from the smoking process. So these have been smoked, and then they were put in kind of a semi-airtight bucket and or a barrel, and then they've been frozen for like a few months. So we're just now getting to them, and we're gonna cut them up. Remember on TV when they had like filler footage? It's like, that's what this is.
Oh, yeah.
So I took the beaver intestines out of the salt soak, and I rinse them in this water to kind of rehydrate them. And now I've got some clean, warm water, and I'm just doing a final like washing of the inside. So I'm like taking the intestine and I'm opening it up and I'm like dunking it in the water and getting some water bubbles in there. And then once you get some water in there, then I can just run it through my hands like this and kind of squeegee the water through. And that, then the bit water is just cleaning out the inside of the intestines, in case there's any like salt in there. So after I do this, then I'm going to put it in this bath, which I've got some onions and apple cider vinegar in warm water. The important thing is that you have warm water when you're doing all this. Otherwise the intestines will break. So you just have to keep them warm and moist through the whole process. So I'm going to clean the rest of these out, and then they'll go in the vinegar onion bath, and they'll soak in there while we're grinding the meat. So we finished cutting up the meat into chunks, and now we need to grind it. And then we'll probably grind it multiple times, and then we'll spice it, and then we'll put it in the casings. Grinding away. We have a Christine powered grinder.
Woman power.
Woman power. Okay, we're on to the next step of beaver sausage making. We've done 2 rounds of grinding with the beaver meat, and there's about 7 or 8 gallons of meat from 3 beavers, and all we have is this size grinder wheel, so our grinding plate, so we have to grind it multiple times, and it's not going to be as fine as we want it, but that's fine. And we chopped up a bunch of onion and garlic to put in the mix, and then we've got a pot of about 2.5 gallons of meat cooking. And so we're gonna cook some of the meat, and we're gonna add a little bit of raw meat, and then that's what we're gonna pack some of the sausages with. And then we're going to cook that in the casings, and then we're gonna do some of the sausages just raw packed. So it's just 2 different ways of making sausage. Okay, so now we've got some cooked ground beaver, and then we've got some raw ground beaver, and this has garlic and onion ground and mixed in with it. And then we've got, to spice this, we've got salt, Himalayan pink salt, Christine with some wood chips.
Wood chips.
Marjoram, pepper, nutmeg, cloves, and that's it. So now I'm going to mix this cooked stuff in. There's like 2.5 gallons of cooked ground beaver meat, and I'm going to mix it in with about 1 gallon of this raw stuff. And this is so that the sausages don't explode when you cook them, because these sausages are going to be cooked They're going to be put in the casings, then they're going to be boiled so that they're fully cooked and then frozen, so you can just take them out and eat them. Whereas the other sausages we're making are just going to be raw, so those are just going to get packed into the casings and frozen, and then we'll cook those before we eat them. Okay, here goes the actual sausage making part. Warm water. Intestine. This is the vinegar onion solution that they've been soaking in overnight. And this is just warm water that I'm putting it into because you want the intestines to be warm. Look at all these beautiful sausages.
Lots.
Okay. Then you thread it onto the stuffer, which is also the grinder. And it just basically threads on to the little stuffing tube. And this one's too long, so just gonna break it off. Save that. I'm gonna tie a knot in this end. Or you can tie it with string. We learned how to make sausage from our German friends, so we're experts. Sausages. Okay, so we decided to tie all the sausages into little pairs, like so. And then we're simmering them for 30 minutes to finish cooking them, because remember this is mostly cooked meat with some raw meat that was then put in the casings, and then this is fully cooking them. So these ones are fully cooked. So we'll be able to freeze these, and then when we want, we can thaw them out and slice them up and not have to cook them. And then basically we have a ton of meat left over after we ran out of casings, and so we're making a bunch of hamburgers. We're putting on wax paper and then just freezing it outside in little patties, and then we'll put it in buckets. Okay, so the exciting part of sausage making is getting to eat the sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So here are two of our beautiful sausages.
Yum. Cut it up, cut it up.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it. I'll cut this little string guy off. Well, doesn't hold together that well, but
It sounds crispy since we let the skin dry.
yeah. Well,
Just eat it like that.
oh my god. This is the way to do it. Don't try to cut it.
Tastes good.
We did a good thing.
Good.
Oh, you're your way. I gotta get your reaction.
Oh, no. I don't need the world to watch me eat a sausage. Slow-mo.
Well, thanks for watching our beaver sausage party.
Uh-huh. Hope you learned something.